So we volunteer. The staff and I will go to Shriners Hospital for Children down in Galveston on the island, and we provide free haircuts for patients and their families.
Welcome to another episode of Clear Light Connections, where we talk to the people behind the businesses of Bay Area Houston. I'm here today with Becky Sill with Fantastic Sam's. We are proudly sponsored by UTMB Health, so big shout out to them. Becky, tell me about what you do with Fantastic Sam's. I understand you own 2 locations.
Yes, my husband and I own 2 locations, one in front of Clear Falls High School here in League City, and then the other one down in Galveston.
And let's talk about what got you into that. You're a bit of a serial entrepreneur, I believe. So you've had several businesses now, and what made you decide to jump into the hair care industry?
Well, it's kind of a memory story. When I started going to beauty school, it was in high school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, but the opportunity came up to take those classes in high school. And I had fond memories of going to the beauty shop with my grandmother in a one chair salon out in the country. And so I thought, you know what, let's just do it. I didn't have anything else on my mind. And when I got through school and went off to college, I thought, I always wanted to, from that point on, have my own salon. And so now, a few decades later, here I am.
You finally got it.
Finally
that's
got
great.
it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's important for people to, if you have a dream, it's never too late to
Right.
make it happen. So, and that's what it sounds like in this case happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And your husband's on board, and you guys, do you work together, or do you do different locations?
He supports me greatly. I'm a stylist, so I'm behind the chair, and I bring that to the business side of it as well. He actually is in private aircraft, takes care of Gulfstreams, and so he has his job as well, but supports me when he can. He's my tech guy.
Because we've had
and my maintenance guy.
We've had past guests who work with their spouse on a daily basis, and I marvel at them being able to do that. And I guess you guys do get to spend a lot of time together, though, doing that.
We do. He was an unfortunate victim of a layoff right before COVID, and so he actually was with me and supported me through most of COVID, which was truly a gift. The timing on that was great. And then he was able to go back to his career in January. So
you mentioned COVID. And I think this is going to tie right into your community involvement that you have. But I think what the lockdown showed us all was how important a good haircut is. You know what I mean?
I do.
And people coming out, and it's like, oh yeah, and it makes you feel like a new person.
Yes.
So tell me about some of the community involvement that you do, and I think it kind of ties in nicely with the power of a good haircut.
Yeah, for sure. So we volunteer. The staff and I will go to Shriners Hospital for Children down in Galveston on the island, and we provide free haircuts for patients and their families. And it is amazing what that does for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really helps in the healing process. I get emotional talking about it because it's you have to be there to experience that.
Yeah.
And of course, they don't have any volunteers, and so we haven't been able to go down there during
Right.
COVID. But it's a gift to be able to offer that to them and know that you're making such a difference, and to see those smiles that are so genuine. I remember one. So they're they have patients come in from all countries, and so there's a lot of language barrier. So I remember one time I was down there, and we were trying to translate on how to get this haircut done. And I'm like, are we there yet? And I could tell that I wasn't, I could tell he just wasn't quite what he wanted. And I just kept on, I'm like, okay. So I had the translator, we just kept working at it. And finally, he just lit up from the inside out. And I knew we had achieved what it was that he was after. And you could just see he felt so good. And to be part of that is just amazing. Like you just can't describe it.
Yeah, and like I said, before the pandemic, we took haircuts for granted, and then after it had been so long, and I'm pretty sure you guys hacked off a lot of mullets when you reopened.
So there's another half to that story. Mullets are coming back, and we're actually cutting them
Oh, wow.
in from some of these long haircuts that have grown out. Yeah, we're turning some people into mullets.
Oh, wow. I had a coffee table book it was the mullet coffee table book, and it had the history of everyone. And
that's great.
To hear that they're coming back, honestly, it frightens me a little bit.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my high school days back in the 80s. So.
Mine as well. So, yeah.
And so you do some other volunteer work with a different nonprofit that it's families that are hitting hard times and looking for work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're getting back into the work world, and it's really, this nonprofit is to give them a hand up, not a hand out, and it's preparing them to get back into a position where they can support their family.
Yeah.
And that's been very exciting because those families actually come into the salon. So we get to build those relationships. They get to really be pampered. And one lady came in and she'd just gotten a teaching job. So being able to be part of her journey and get her prepared to feel good to go into her first day was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing what a good haircut does for you. I mean, like you said, it just, they light up, they smile.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good to hear. So what are some trends you're seeing in that world right now that people should be aware of, like styling, color, that type of thing? What are some of the good things that you're seeing out there that you're enjoying being a part of?
So trends come full circle. I mean, like anything, they're cyclical. You leave a pair of bell bottoms in your closet long enough,
just in case.
In style. But we're seeing the mullets come back. Perms are back. I do quite a few perms myself, which is pretty exciting. Smoothing, because that's what I cut my teeth on. A lot of the new stylists don't like doing perms, but again, a fond memory for me, so I love them. We also still have straight hair. I'm kind of toggling back and forth myself, but smoothing is a big deal, especially coming into summer. We have a smoothing treatment that we offer to help with the frizz, especially in this crazy area. I had longer hair when I lived in California. It was a dry heat. Long straight hair loves dry heat. I moved here and I couldn't do anything with it, and so I just chopped it all off, and I've had it short. But because of the smoothing treatment that we have right now, I'm growing it out, I'm testing it, and trying to share it with everybody so they can see how it really works.
Yeah, and I think over the years I've taken my hair for granted, and it's not until the guys at work that don't have hair comment on my hair. I'm like, yeah, there's always been power with hair, right? Samson and Delilah. I mean, we're talking about, so hair has always been something that people have really associated with, I guess, power, success, that type of thing. And so you help people in tough circumstances through your volunteer efforts feel that same way. So that must be very fulfilling.
Absolutely.
And you said you're almost getting ready to go back to Shriners? They're going to let you guys back in?
We're still waiting for them to let volunteers come back. I don't have a date yet, but I have had a couple of conversations with some of the staff there.
Okay, good. It's nice to see the world getting back to normal.
Yes.
And so is your business picked up? Is it back where it was before?
Oh, we're not back with where we were before. But we are making progress. We lifted our mask requirement, even though the state of Texas has, been into relaxed status for a little while now. We were a little bit more reserved because we do have physical contact with our guests, so we wanted to be really careful. And we just lifted the requirement last week so people can come into the salon. It's still encouraged just because of the close contact, but we don't mandate it now. And just this week, we're going back to walk-ins and not appointment only. So that should be a big shift to getting back to somewhat normalcy.
And then I wanted to ask you about, are you needing to hire people? But before I do that, I have to go to Sherry Sweeney with the Chamber for some important announcement.
Hello, Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce members and Bay Area Houston. We are excited. Our 33rd annual Business and Wellness Expo is coming up on August 19th inside the Gloria Dei Lutheran Church in Nassau Bay. This is an opportunity for you to showcase your business, goods, and services. And this year, we're also going to add a job fair. A lot of our businesses tell us they are in need of employees, and we're going to help you out. For more information, go to clearlakearea.com.
All right, and we're back. So before the break, I was asking you about, are you looking for people? Are you hiring?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes and yes.
Yeah, I think everybody is. I think every restaurant I go to now, I see the help wanted sign.
Everywhere.
Businesses like yours, it's time for people to get back to work, and it sounds like you're giving them quite the offer with a signing bonus.
Yeah.
So tell me how the salon works. I'm an ignorant man. I go sometimes. I get a haircut. That's about all I know. So how do you attract talented people, and so what does that relationship look like between you and the other stylists?
So, like I mentioned, I am a stylist as well. So I bring that added value and understanding to the salon in addition to the business side of it. My primary role, however, is to provide an environment where they can be who they want to be as a stylist. So we're kind of a hybrid of a shop where they have to come in and cut one way. You have to come in, you have to cut, it has to be in a certain amount of time, and you're on your way, versus the other end of the spectrum where it's a boutique and you spend an hour and all that. But the stylists that work with me, they have their own style. Of course, in any business, time is money. So we try to work on efficiency and techniques and improving those skills. However, we want it to be a hybrid between those two. So the guest is getting the best experience.
Yeah.
It's not rushed, but it's not your, hour-long haircut as well. One of the differentiators for us is we include a shampoo with every cut. It's not an add-on. So that's something that I really encourage the stylists to accelerate, to help the guests understand that that's part of the service. It's not an add-on. Here, let me treat you to this. And I joke with my guests, and I sincerely mean it. A good shampoo, at least from my perspective, is the best part of the service. The hair shaping, that's just an added bonus. So people will tell me, like, oh, you can do this all day. So
you're coming for a shampoo and you leave with a cut.
There you go.
All right.
Exactly. But my goal is to be the premier, or to be the premier salon in the community where people want to come. How do I do that? Word of mouth, of course. We want our guests to be happy and share that with their friends. And then ultimately to be the employer of choice and to be able to offer a place where the stylists can come, like I said, be their creative self. That's why they got into this business. And I want to be in a position where I'm not looking for staff, but we have built such a strong, cohesive team that stylists want to come and work at my locations, and that they're waiting for a chair to open so that they can be part of that team. I really, really focus, you've heard me say team. We really focus on teamwork. We collaborate, we help each other. The other day I had a stylist that didn't have anybody in her chair, so she came over and she was my assistant while I was doing some highlights and holding the hair for me, so I didn't have to spend all that time clipping and unclipping and clipping and unclipping.
Yeah.
And we formulate together. Excuse me. We do a lot of color, and it's funny because people will look at us and go, "You look like mad scientists over there." It's not just grabbing a box of color and putting it on somebody's hair. You have to understand what it's going to do. You have to understand the theory behind it and what your end goal your end goal is and how you can get there. So seeing that collaboration and that teamwork, our guests actually comment to us about that collaboration, because in a lot of salons you'll go in and there'll be like every man for themselves, and I can't share this tip or trick with you because you might steal my guest, or you might end up knowing more than I do. And the greatness, I think, that makes us such a great environment is that we all work really well together.
Yeah, and you hit on some really good notes there on teamwork, being an employer of choice. A lot of small businesses don't invest enough into their people, and your people are your front line, and it sounds like you really value that, and that's part of that experience that you spoke of.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you real quick about your 3 questions that you ask every day. I read that in the bio, and I found it to be quite interesting. So tell me how you decided on those 3 questions and what that means to you.
So the 3 questions that I have to consciously make a choice every day to answer is, what can I learn from this situation? And what can I learn from this situation? Or I can complain about something.
Mm-hmm.
I can say, what can I do to be better? Or I can blame somebody else. And I have to ask myself, am I all in? am I all in today, or do I have one foot in or one foot out? Because if you choose the latter of all three, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I can be, if we're being really honest here, I was in that position during COVID. It was a tough time.
Yeah.
And there's something different about head knowledge and experiential knowledge. And I've had a lot of head knowledge. I love to read. I am in my car, back and forth between the salons. I'm listening to podcasts, listening to books on tape. I'm full of head knowledge, and I believe it and you understand it, but until you experience it, it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah.
And I was in a position about 6 months ago where I had to really have a talk with myself and say, what can I learn about this? And not just once in a while, but every single day. Because without doing that, if you are complaining about a situation, then all of your energy is going to negativity. All of your energy is being sucked right out of you, and you're not focusing on the solution. So I'm very solution oriented, and I focus on that with my staff. Okay, we've identified the problem. Let's stop there.
Yeah.
Now, what's the solution? We can blame other people for the situation. If they would just do this,
right,
then fill in the blank, whatever that might look like. I don't do that anymore. I did, and it was a really ugly place to be.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. It's maybe there's truth to it, but at the end of the day, I can only be responsible for myself. I can only control me.
Right.
I can offer suggestions, I can mentor, I can coach. Whether someone wants to take that investment from me is on them. I need to ask myself, what can I do different? How can I be better?
Yeah, it sounds like you're holding yourself very accountable,
Mm-hmm.
which is really important
Yeah.
in anything you do. So before we wrap it up, is there anything else you'd like to let people know about your salons or anything like that?
Come see us.
And where are they? Where are you located again? You're on the seawall?
So we're a block off Seawall in Galveston, off of 61st Street, right in the Bank of America Shopping Center. Here in League City, we are right in front of Clear Falls High School, 2 doors down from the donut shop. Everybody
Fantastic.
knows where the donut shop is.
They certainly do in that area. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I probably do need to go and get a haircut.
Come
so
see
thank you.
us. All right. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.